I'd like to present this interesting model to you. Little white booties, very elegant. For a baby from 0 to 3 months. The shoes are very small. These are for a newborn coming home from the hospital and for those very first gifts. Hello dear subscribers and guests of my channel. I suggest these booty style shoes. In this case, blue is shown. For a boy, it's more suitable for a boy, but by changing the color scheme, you can make them for a girl. Now let's take measurements. The sole is 9 centimeters, the heel is 3.6 centimeters. The toe area is always wider, 5 centimeters. The side piece is measured from the point where I start knitting the toe and down to the platform. This comes to about 1.8 to 1.9 centimeters in height. The toe width is 4.14 centimeters. The depth is 2.9 centimeters. And the total height of the piece from the top point to the sole is 5.2 centimeters. If you like this model, stay with me and we will knit the second shoe. For the work, I will need white yarn. From this kind of winding, this bobbin. As a rule, crafters use this yarn for knitting doilies and collars. I enjoy knitting baby footwear. It looks very nice. Lately, I've seen this yarn used for amigurumi toys. The yarn is yarn. That is its name. It is a French name. Let's unfold it. It says Baumwolle in German, which means cotton. It is 100% cotton and fully processed. It says mercerized 50G, 170 meter. The manufacturer suggests using a 2.5mm crochet hook. I will be using a size 2 hook. Also, for decoration and design, I took some yarn scraps. I happened to have red. It's the same quality as the white yarn. You will need very little. This is for decoration. A red stripe and a red lace. Other scraps. The blue yarn was thinner, but by doubling it, the thickness is perfect for my knitting. Red combines beautifully with soft blue. You will need a little less blue yarn. I will also need scissors. We already mentioned the size 2 hook and a smaller hook. That's for pulling up tight loops or hiding yarn ends. I use 2 or more stitch markers. My sole consists of 3 layers. This is how it looks. I use different inserts. This time I used mousse gummy. It's like an artificial rubber or some kind of rubberized synthetic material. It comes in several colors and different thicknesses. It used to be called mousse gummy, now it's called craft foam. It's material for making flowers, compositions, and so on. So and so. People make doll shoes, boots, and booties entirely out of this material. My sole, or rather the insert, is only 2mm size. It is very flexible. I use glue that doesn't crystallize, it sticks very well and very quickly. It doesn't change color during washing, and after some time it doesn't yellow or change color. I use eyelets. You can go without eyelets, as I crochet lace holes very neatly, but it looks great for the design. It looks like real footwear. I like it. You need to buy quality eyelets so they don't rust when washed. They have notches right at the top. To install these eyelets, I use special pliers sized for the eyelets. I have size 4 eyelets. These pliers fit sizes 4 and 4. The first stage of crocheting the shoe is the sole. I start by crocheting the sole. My project will consist of 2 soles. 2 soles are absolutely identical, the same size. Only, as you can see, one sole is transparent and the other is not, because one sole already has an inlay and is glued. I leave the edges open so it is easy for me to crochet around the sole. They will be folded like this and crocheted together. The sole is crocheted from 17 chain stitches. Upon completion of the work, there are 72 stitches. It consists of 4 rows. Each row consists of several combined stitches. These are single crochets, half double crochets, and slip stitches. I have several videos on my channel. There are enough videos on crocheting a sole from 17 chain stitches and a sole from 10 chain stitches. Therefore, I will not dwell on this and will move on to the next stage of working. The next stage of work is crocheting the side wall. The side wall consists of 6 rows, not counting the base row. This is the row that allows you to transition to another plane, 90 degrees. Now look at the piece exactly at 90 degrees. I take the sole with the front side facing me, place the hook parallel to the braid, and find the conditional center. I insert the hook, turn it to the wrong side, and insert it into the adjacent loop. And a beautiful corner like this is formed. I crochet 2 loops with the thread. I secure it. Since my action consists of 2 loops to form a corner, this process will repeat, and each time the second loop will become the first plus the next loop. I crochet a single crochet together. The second loop becomes the first. The next loop, I crochet a single crochet together, and so on until the end of the row. I will crochet a little further to show you the advantage of this mini row. Upon finishing this row, I should still have 72 stitches. I have crocheted a few rows. And look, if I position it this way, it looks like there are loops here and loops there. These are open loops. I will use these loops to crochet the final row when I join the 2 soles. And there it is, a tiny, tiny side wall. This is the beginning of crocheting my side wall. The loops are open, which I will use to crochet the side wall. I will finish this row on my own and show you the next stage of work. The mini cuff is ready. I crocheted through every loop on this side. I'm moving this yarn tail to the inner wrong side. I pull the middle part through with a hook. The mini cuff is crocheted. I make a slip stitch. With a slip stitch, I fasten it, or is also called a turning chain. And into this same loop, I form a full single crochet stitch. My cuff will consist of 6 rows. 5 of them will be worked as is, all 72 stitches. And in the 6th final row, I will decrease 4 stitches at the toe. You can arrange the rows as you like. At your desired height, I've already done the main row of single crochets, and my 2nd and 3rd rows will be colored. I will work this row on my own and show how I introduce the red yarn. I finish the 1st row in white yarn, and before connecting this 1st row, I introduce the other color, working it together with the slip stitch. I hold the white yarn and fasten the red one. It will tighten up later, I won't cut it. I position the red yarn along the work and form a full stitch from the same loop. I crochet the red tail into the work and continue with single crochets. I only need to crochet 1 row of red yarn. I also need to crochet 1 row of blue yarn. Everything repeats itself. The principle is the same. I will work this row on my own. I'll work the blue row, then the white as it all repeats. And we will meet at the end of the 5th row of our cuff when I start the 6th row with decreases. But I finished 5 rows and started the 6th final one. Markers have appeared in the work. I needed to mark the 20 center stitches. I folded the booty right along this braid. I align it from this point to this point evenly. I mark the 20 center stitches. The stitches under the markers are not used. I only have a few single crochets left before the decreases. I remove the marker. I work the stitch under the marker as a single crochet and start decreasing from the next. I will decrease using the front loops, the half stitches, the first time and the second time. I have 3 loops on the hook. I draw through the 2 double loops with a single crochet. The interval between decreases will be 4 stitches. I need to make 4 decreases. 2, 3, 4 and another decrease. Front half loop, first and second. I work a single crochet through them. And another interval. 1, 3, 4, and another decrease. This is the third one. Everything is exactly the same. Front half loops, single crochet. Three, 4, and I have 2 final stitches left. These are the very last stitches for the decrease. I remove the marker and finish with single crochets. I cut the yarn and our cuff is ready, and I will proceed to the next stage of work. I will finish this work on my own and show you the next stage. The edge is ready, and there is one last loop left that hasn't been formed. I cut the yarn and will show you how I make the last loop. I insert the hook into the very first loop, cut the yarn, and form the last loop. So I have half of it. Now I need to form a complete loop. I insert the hook into the penultimate loop, pull it, and make sure all the loops are even. To keep the loop from stretching, I secure it, grab it, and pull it. It's easier to see from this side, the front. And later on, I will weave this yarn into the knitting. The edge is ready, and markers are back in action. First, about the number of stitches. Since we started the edge with 72 stitches in the final 6th row, I decreased by 4. 72 minus 4 is 68 stitches. So at this moment, having finished the edge, I have 68 stitches. I have marked the central 32 stitches with markers. The stitches under the markers, under the 2 markers, are not involved. The principle is the same. I fold the piece in half. I mark the center with a marker, and on each side I need 16 stitches. 4, 6, 10, 12, 16. So I shifted by 1 stitch. You can count exactly, or you can try this method and count. Excellent. 32 stitches on each side. Okay, now it's even. And now start knitting the toe. 32 stitches are the ones for the sides on each side and for the central part. I will start the central part with 8 stitches. 32 minus 8 is 24. 24 stitches is 1/2 for this side and 1/2 for this side. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. Starting from the 13th stitch, I begin knitting the toe. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. From the 13th stitch, the first 8 stitches I secure, and from this same stitch I knit a full loop. I am weaving in the remaining yarn. 2, 3, 4. At the same time, I am pulling and tightening all the threads. 7 and 8. These are the central 8 stitches I started the toe with. My toe will increase to 12 stitches as I knit. But first I'll check the other side to see if I really have 12 stitches. So the 8 stitches are exactly in the middle. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Excellent. Exactly in the middle. The next 2 stitches will be connecting stitches. The first connecting stitch and the second. Without a turning chain, I turn the work, keep the yarn in front, and skip the first stitch. I start knitting from the second stitch. 2, 4, 8, and the newly formed stitch 9. No, already 9 stitches. Now my hook is on the front side. I insert it inside and catch the yarn. First connecting stitch, and in the same way, the second connecting stitch. You can clearly see it here on the front side. Here's the first stitch, here's the second stitch. Since we are increasing to 12 stitches, I will knit from the second stitch. 2, 9, and a new 10th stitch. 10 stitches, following the same principle for the next 2 stitches. The first slip stitch, the second slip stitch. I turn the work. I skip the first stitch and start knitting from the second. I am still increasing. I need 12 central stitches. 2, 10, and the new 11th stitch. I have the last 12th stitch left on the other side. Just the same, the first slip stitch and the second slip stitch. From the second stitch, I knit the 12th and last stitch. 2, 10, 11, and 12. I have picked up the required number of stitches for the center part. And now I will not be increasing anymore. I will be moving toward the markers. I will be knitting in length. The first slip stitch and the second slip stitch. I skip with the thread. I skip the first stitch, the second stitch, and start knitting from the third. 11, and 12. I insert the hook from the front side exactly the same way and pick up the thread. The first slip stitch and the second slip stitch. I turn the work. From the front side you can see these stitches very, very well. First, second, and third. Since we don't need to increase anymore, I will knit subsequent rows starting from the third stitch. 2, 11, 12. Still 12 stitches. Now I am moving along the length. And look, the toe is becoming even. I should have 6 open stitches left on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is the same on the other side. I will knit a row back and forth on my own. That means 2 rows. And when I have 4 stitches left on each side, I will show you the next step. The toe is ready. I have finished knitting up to the markers. I don't have a single stitch left. And to knit the tongue, I will need 2 more stitches. I want to make it a little wider, so I will add 1 stitch to each, the first and the last. That means 2 stitches from the first stitch and the last stitch, so that I have 14 stitches, 13th and 14th. I have knitted the first row of the tongue. We don't need the markers anymore, they can be removed. I count the height of the tongue by pairs, knit purl. They form a specific pattern, and I count them in pairs. I need 12 pairs or 24 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is half of the 7th row. If I don't count this half, I need to knit 6 more such pairs, 24 rows in height, if counting by rows. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 rows completed. That means I need to knit 11 more rows, 14 stitches in each row. My thumb is even. After finishing the thumb, I just crochet around the edges. It's not complicated. I'll do this myself and show you the next step. Well, the front part is almost ready. Starting from this point, it will be 12 pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, plus the edging. I always add an edge for an aesthetic finish. Now I just need to make the lace holder, this little piece here. It's done very simply. This process uses very little yarn. I make a loop like this. I divide the thumb into 2 parts and go down to the 4th pair. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I need to pick up from the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here, from the inside. I pick up this loop and pull it to the inside along with the knot and the remaining thread. I tighten it, insert the hook from the front and pick up this loop. I pull it through carefully so the knot stays inside. I hold it with my finger and tighten the loop. I try to keep the knot inside. I secure it. I count it as a stitch 2, 2, 4. I arrange them neatly like this. And I look for the center. Let's see how it looks on my first booty. Everything is correct. This is the first pair, and at the end of the second pair, between the second and third, I mark it and pull it to the inside, mini side. And in the adjacent stitch, I pull it back to the front. I secure it and crochet each chain stitch with a single crochet. I pull the yarn, cut it, and pull the leftover tail to the inside. This is what I get. I tie the 2 ends together and then hide the leftover yarn. I smooth it out, and there the lace holder is ready. The front part of the booty is finished. Now I start on the back. So that nothing gets in my way, I'll tuck the thumb inside and start knitting from the second half stitch. When knitting the toe, we had 4 half stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. I skip the first and start knitting from the second. I secure it. And from this same stitch, I knit a full loop again, so I don't lose a single stitch. First half stitch. Second. And third. At the same time, I weave in the leftover yarn ends, lanes. I move to the main fabric, 4 stitches now. Like this. On the other side, I need to knit 3 half stitches in the same way without catching the last one. Here it is the first, and here it is the last. The back part of the booty will be slightly larger in stitch distribution, plus 3 stitches on each side for the overlap, so there are no holes between the tongue and the back. The back of the booty consists of 8 rows in height, or 4 pairs. In every second row, I will decrease by 2 stitches. 1 loop on one side and another loop on the other side. I will knit the first row on my own and show you the second purl row. The first row is knitted. I am starting to knit the second row. The first row counts as the odd rows. They will be knitted according to the pattern. Every stitch will be knitted. The second, fourth, sixth, and eighth will be knitted differently. In every second, fourth, sixth, and eighth row, I will decrease by 2 stitches. 1 stitch on one side to make a trapezoid, and 1 stitch on the other. There, I'm approaching the end and I have 3 stitches left. I knit the third to last stitch. I leave the second to last and knit the last stitch. In doing so, I skip 1 stitch. So 2 rows are already knitted. I have 6 rows left to knit. They are knitted in a similar way. The knit row is worked without changes, and in the purl rows 1 stitch is decreased on each side. I will knit the remaining rows of the back part on my own and show you the next step. Well, 8 rows in height are done, or 4 pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. I make a large loop. I don't cut it, but pass the booty through this large loop. I carefully pull the last stitch so it isn't too big and tie a knot. Look, the trapezoids are finished. Because I did the decreases every second row, they turned out to be very nice, not too sloped trapezoids. I want this edge to be even. It's more or less okay here, but here, it looks like steps. Therefore, I will first crochet around the entire back of the booty, and then I will form the holes for the laces. For this, I will now use that first stitch we had left over. It is the last one. I pull the yarn and will incorporate it into the knitting. One, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 9 at the top. So my trapezoid consists of 9 stitches. To move to the other side without pulling, I will knit 1 more stitch from the 9th stitch to transition massively, and I will also crochet around the top part of the booty. I will form 9 stitches on the other side as well. I will do this on my own and show you the next step. It turned out very neat for me. I knit a small loop. Again, I turn the work to the purl side and pick up the last stitch for processing. I grab the pulled out stitch and knit them together. I just pull the thread through. I don't fasten it or make a knot, and I start crocheting. Now I will form the holes for the laces. To do this, I would first crochet 2 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 2 chain stitches. I skip a stitch into the space between the stitches. 2 single crochet stitches, 2 chain stitches. I skip a stitch and again into the space between the stitches. 2 single crochet stitches, 2 chain stitches, and I've reached the top. I skip a stitch, and now I have formed 3 loops. I will form them exactly the same way on the other side. First, I will go over the top part of the booty again and form the loops on the other side. Note that since I am knitting on both the front and back sides, the pattern remains the same. Everything follows sequentially without changes. I will finish this on my own, form the loops on the other side, and show you the next stage of the work. So I have knitted the loops on the other side, left a small loop, and will again use the half loop we already used. I pick it up and knit them together. And now I will reinforce the formed loops. I begin to bind them off. My first 2 stitches are single crochets, 2 single crochets into the arch, and so on. The bridge between the eyelets for the laces, 2 single crochets and arch, 2 single crochets, and so on. Now I am reaching the top and will also edge the upper part of the booty. See how it turns out. The loops are not fully reinforced yet, as there will be one forcing row of slip stitches. I will finish this row and show you the next stage of the work. I have finished the entire row and reinforced the loops on both sides. And I have one final reinforcing row left for the top edge of the booty to keep it from stretching, during where I also left the loop. And on the other side I will also use a half loop. I join the 2 loops together. I bring it to the wrong side without fastening, and I will reinforce the upper part of the boot's shaft and the trapezium where the lace holes are, so the lace doesn't pull the loops out, so the loops don't tear or stretch. First, it adds thickness compared to this edge, and it stretches quite a lot. Here, the loops already stretch to the length of the loop you formed. I will knit to the end and show you the next stage of the work. The booty is almost ready. One of the final parts remains: attaching the sole, inserting the eyelets, and making the lace. I will start with the sole. This is the beginning of the base row of yarn, so I don't cut it, I bring it out to this side. This is the inside, as it will be covered. I orient myself by these points, by these lines, there. So I move it up, press it with my finger, and mark it with markers. I have several, so to make binding easier, I pick it up from all sides. Now we will assemble the sole. As I said, I will do this with slip stitches, working loosely. Even though the sole is glued, it won't stretch as much, but since it's not fully glued, this will still allow the sole to stretch a little bit, knit it a little bit. I pick up and knit with a slip stitch. It's quite simple to do. I make sure that the loops of the front sole and the loops of the inner sole are complete. You can see the thickness of the 2 soles. And the trim. On this side there's stitching, little stitches. And on this side a solid light blue edge. I'll knit this on my own and show how I hide the leftover tail ends. Well, I finished the trim. Look at how it turned out. I pulled them to one side. And now I'll pull them to the inside point. I'm looking for that point. 1 and 2. I'm turning the knitting around. I am tying the 2 yarn ends together. And I'm distributing them inside the sole in different directions. To one side and to the other side. I'm cutting off everything unnecessary. And the little boot is almost ready. All that's left are the eyelets. I need 6 pieces for each boot. There is a short video on my channel about installing eyelets, so you can watch it again. I place the flat side against the flat surface and press down with the other side. The eyelets install very well. Thanks to these little notches, they spread out nicely in different directions. I also have a video on my channel on how to knit 2 types of laces, hollow and flat. The flat lace is wider, which is why I said you could make the holes wider for it. The hollow one is round, just like this. Now I'll measure it and tell you how many centimeters I use per boot with 3 eyelets. 50 centimeters will stretch a little. It will be about 51 centimeters. I'll insert the eyelets myself, put in the lace, and show you the finished pair. The boots are ready. I hope those who were with me and knitting enjoyed it as much as I did. I wish you peace, kindness, and a good mood. Bye-bye. See you next time.